I follow one of the great visionaries in our industry, Peter Diamandis, and he sent an email just earlier this week, actually, as it happens. And he said, by the end of this decade, there are going to be two kinds of companies: those that are fully utilizing AI and those that are out of business. And this is obviously a very hot topic right now. And if you're not thinking about how you might be able to use AI to improve your business, then I do invite you to start to consider it and start to think about how that might work. I actually think that in the case of LiveCode, our window is a lot shorter than the end of the decade that he's talking about. There's a lot of movement towards integrating AI technologies into development platforms, and I don't think that LiveCode would be able to compete or would be sustainable within a few months or at most a year or two if we chose not to embrace these new technologies. So in a way, we absolutely have to act immediately. We don't really have much of a choice. But the upside for doing so is huge. And so that is exactly what we're going to do. I founded this company as a hobby in high school. I went full-time when I was 17. And we introduced version 1.0 of what was a revolution just over 2 decades ago. And throughout that whole period, our vision has been to make it easier to build software. And we've succeeded tremendously in doing that. At least 47 million people have used a LiveCode built app or backend in companies ranging from large to small. Over 200,000 people have learned to code using LiveCode. Zavi lets us build on and deliver that vision so much better than we've ever been able to before. It really is, I think, a total game changer. The goal is that if you are comfortable using a computer, then you will be able to build an app with Zavi. Our no-code tools will let you build an app using just point and click. And the AI that supports that journey will allow you to describe your user interface and your actions, and it'll then support you in explaining and editing code. We've always had the world's easiest programming language, but even that has still been a barrier for people to get started, as it's something to learn. For straightforward apps, you're now going to be up and running in no time at all. And if your app is relatively straightforward, you won't even need to learn any coding at all. However, when you need to go beyond the built-in capabilities, then you will be able to gradually learn step by step. You'll have a working app in front of you, you'll have understandable code, and you'll be able to start to make changes. That is what sets us apart from every other no-code tool on the market. Every action generated in the actions editor creates code under the hood, which is written in English, so you can understand it and edit it. You don't need a computer science degree to understand it. And this is so important because in our long experience, we've seen that almost every app out there that succeeds ends up needing that something more. It might not need it at version 1, but at some point you start to have success and you need to go out of the box. In other no-code platforms, when you hit the wall, you're going to have to hire a professional programmer or you're going to be stuck. With Zavi, you can often do it yourself, or if you do need to hire someone, it's going to be really affordable. If you are a professional programmer or you're an existing LiveCode user, the goal with Zavi is to make you much more productive. Simply beyond simply the AI, we've improved virtually the entirety of the product experience. So you can build your apps in the web-based editor without having to download anything. You can share that experience with other editors who can log in and work with you, so you can both be working on the same project at the same time. Data binding is built in, meaning that you can store the data in your app without having to write any code. And that data binding is totally scalable because it's built on a NoSQL platform. So your app could literally have 1 million users for an hour, and it will scale without you having to change a single thing. Deployment to the web is a single click, and we've upgraded all of the objects so that they work according to the very latest standards. We're improving our English syntax even further to be able to wrap the new data binding and the new API connectors with really simple sentences that describe what you're doing, like a command to send email, which does exactly what you would expect. If you're an existing customer and you're wondering whether you'll need Zavi, let me share a few thoughts. First of all, no matter how experienced you are at coding, having built-in AI support tightly integrated into the script editor and available right there is going to make you more productive. There are numerous examples in other languages, It's hard to put a figure on it, but looking at where other people are integrating AI, we might say that you might be somewhere around 50% more productive. Secondly, the new objects that we're building are going to make your life a whole lot easier. And we'll go on to demonstrate some of those that we've got working very shortly. There are also all the new API connectors for things like OpenAI, if you're building AI into your app, Stripe, PayPal, Zapier, and so forth. Next, even if you have your own backend to store data already, our data binding tools are going to make working with that a lot easier. So we'll be adding support for using your own SQL databases with our no-code point-and-click tools. And that will include binding the new widgets to content in your existing backend systems, again, without you having to write code to do that. Next, we would encourage you to think about whether it's worth having a web version of your existing app. In many cases, though obviously not all, it is an easier way for the customer to consume your app. And don't forget, you can import your Zavi stacks into the LiveCode IDE to continue to build for mobile and desktop. One of our values as a business is to be a long-term, reliable partner. And to that end, we have maintained LiveCode for over 2 decades. And we know that many of you have based important parts of your business on it. We're all used to tech becoming obsolete and being forced to upgrade from time to time by vendors. And that's not something that we're planning to do here. Even with this move to Zavi, we are planning to go on maintaining LiveCode for those that need it. However, it almost goes without saying, if we aren't able to create Zavi, then LiveCode as a whole is quickly going to become obsolete. Our user base will shrink, and there is no way that we would be able to continue to maintain it in the medium term. So that is why this is so important for all of us, whether you're a LiveCode customer or whether you're looking at Zavi for the first time.